Saturn, the sixth planet from the Sun, has long been shrouded in layers of symbolism and myth, hidden from our view. It's been present in every great myth and religion since the dawn of time, but to the untrained eye, its symbols and secrets remain unknown. More than a celestial body, Saturn has served as a mirror for humanity's deepest psychological patterns and cosmic inquiries. This potent symbolism has given rise to numerous cults, each devoted to unlocking or exploiting the hidden power encoded in Saturn's archetype. And while these cults are many, the truth they have found is one. Saturn is present, and has been present from mankind's birth to the present day, and it remains alive as the god buried in stone, forgotten, but not gone. But what truly is Saturn? In ancient cosmologies, Saturn's unique characteristics enhance its symbolic significance. As the sixth planet from the Sun, it is the last visible by the naked eye. This established Saturn as the boundary keeper of the visible universe. Its slow, deliberate motion across the night sky has led to its association with timekeeping and generational cycles. Before the invention of the telescope, it was the final wandering star, observable with the naked eye. Thus it was symbolically positioned at the very edge of known reality. This gave rise to its archetype as the keeper of time, death, and form. The planet's physical properties, such as its low density and magnificent ring system, contribute to its portrayal as the bound god. Saturn's deity is said to be kept bound except during the festival of Saturnalia. This imagery resonates with the idea that limitations, while seemingly constraining, can also be the reason for creativity and transformation. In Roman mythology, Saturn, who is also known as Kronos in Greek, ruled the Golden Age. This was a primordial era, before suffering and division, but was later overthrown by Jupiter, which is symbolized by Zeus, marking a fall from timelessness into time. This celestial alignment has been historically linked to the destiny of the Jewish people and the anticipated arrival of the Messiah. Figures such as Abarbanel and Rabbi Abraham ben Hia expressed astrological expectations surrounding these conjunctions, highlighting the deep-rooted belief in the influence of celestial events on earthly affairs. Saturn, often referred to as the Star of Israel, embodies the principles of justice and limitation, making it a fitting symbol for the complexities of human existence. The astrological significance of Saturn in Jewish tradition is profound. The planet's cycles have been interpreted as reflections of the Jewish people's historical experiences, including their trials and tribulations. This connection to Saturn as a symbol of justice and limitation resonates with the Jewish understanding of divine order and moral responsibility. Delving into Neoplatonic thought gives more insight into Saturn being the god of form. Here, Saturn represents the principle of limitation that gives form to the formless, a concept that resonates deeply with the human experience. Carl Jung saw Saturn as the archetype of the shadow, as the part of the psyche humanity fears and suppresses. His work in alchemy revealed that true individuation requires the confrontation of this darkness. The alchemist's task is not to destroy Saturn, but to redeem him, to turn psychological lead that entails fear, shame, and repression into gold that is consciousness, creativity, and the soul. In this sense, Saturn is the master alchemist within. Jung's exploration of Saturn's ambivalence in medieval astrology, both as the greater malefic and a source of wisdom, reflects the duality inherent in the human condition. To accept Saturn is to begin the inner work of transmutation. This notion of Saturn being the greater malefic is exemplified with the rise of Christianity. Christianity transformed the wise but severe initiator into the greater malefic, a planetary force associated with death, decay, coldness, and misfortune. Many of Saturn's mythic traits, such as his scythe, his rule over the dead, and his connection to goats, were transferred to Satan. Yet this was not a clean break. The devil himself retained the pattern of the bound god as cast down, exiled, yet still guarding sacred mysteries. As the narrative unfolds, the transformation of Saturn into the figure of the devil in medieval astrology can be examined. Once revered as a wise teacher, Saturn's attributes, coldness, heaviness, and slowness, were reinterpreted as signs of malevolence. This inversion of symbolism illustrates humanity's struggle with the concept of limitation. The very qualities that enable existence are often seen as the enemy. The figure of Michael, the archangel, embodies this duality, acting as a guardian of divine order while wielding the authority of limitation. Michael, lion-headed and sword-bearing, is the one who binds the dragon, bringing divine order to chaos. He is the righteous face of Saturn, the light-bearing boundary keeper, who reminds us that limitation is divine discipline. Modern consciousness and society still continue to grapple with the tension between freedom and restriction. It should be noted here that this transformation did not destroy Saturn's archetype, but rather led to the archetype being split into shadow and light. This duality is further exemplified in the association of Saturn with the Sabbath, where the day of rest becomes a profound expression of sacred time, allowing for reflection and spiritual renewal. Saturn's governance over Saturday, or the Sabbath, reveals his role as a ruler of sacred time. In Judaism, the Sabbath is on the seventh day, commanded by God to be kept as a holy day of rest, as God rested from creation. It is a withdrawal from labor, a return to divine stillness. This rest is not slacking, but structure. In other words, limitation is the foundation of freedom. The Sabbath expresses a paradox central to Saturn, that only by accepting boundaries can one transcend them. To observe Saturn is to encounter this riddle. The more one resists limitation, the more one is bound by it. With more acceptance comes more freedom. Moses also embodies Saturn's principles through his role as a lawgiver and mediator between the divine and human realms. The burning bush, a manifestation of divine fire, symbolizes the transformative power of limitation, illuminating the path to liberation. Moses' journey through the wilderness serves as a metaphor for the human experience of navigating chaos and establishing boundaries, ultimately leading to a deeper understanding of consciousness. In Gnostic theology, however, Saturn takes on a far darker and more complex role. It becomes Yaldabaoth, who is identified with the God of the Old Testament. He embodies the qualities of limitation and authority, yet is blind to the higher reality beyond his creation. The blind Demiurge mistakenly believes himself to be the highest God. He creates the material world, not as an act of divine love, but in ignorance. He's identified as a false god who keeps souls trapped in physical bodies, imprisoned in the material universe. This portrayal serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of becoming trapped within one's own boundaries, thus serving as a theme that resonates with the human experience of self-awareness and the quest for transcendence. This perspective aligns with the Gnostic view of the material world as inherently flawed, echoing themes of original sin and the burdens of physicality. The carbon atom, with its 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons, is linked to the number 666. This number is often associated with the concept of the beast in biblical texts. This connection serves to illustrate the duality of existence, where the material realm is both a prison and a catalyst for spiritual awakening. The Gnostics did not merely reject Saturn, but sought to redeem and transcend its influence. In their mythos, Saturn is not evil, but misaligned divinity. It is believed to be powerful, yet ignorant, lawful, yet blind. Saturn's connection to the Demiurge also introduces the theme of false authority. The Demiurge is the cosmic craftsman who shapes reality according to eternal patterns. Unlike Yaldabaoth, the Demiurge possesses awareness of a higher template, using limitation as a creative force, rather than a restrictive one. This perspective invites contemplation on the nature of thought itself, suggesting that limitation is not merely a barrier, but a necessary component of existence and consciousness. The symbolism of the lion, which is shared by both Saturn and Yaldabaoth, serves as a powerful representation of divine authority. The lion, a symbol of strength and protection, combines the coldness of Saturn, illustrating the complexity of cosmic power. Rather than viewing physical reality as a form of punishment, the Gnostic view is that it serves as a school of transcendence. Suffering becomes a necessary pathway for the spirit to awaken from the delusions of material existence. It invites a reevaluation of the nature of hardship, suggesting that it is through one's struggles that he gains insight and evolves spiritually. The notion that suffering is integral to the process of initiation resonates deeply with many philosophical and spiritual traditions, reinforcing the idea that growth often arises from adversity. Saturn has also managed to embed its divinity through the work of modern scientists. In the realm of metaphysics, few phenomena capture the imagination quite like Saturn's hexagonal storm. In 1981, scientists discovered a massive, persistent hexagonal storm on Saturn's North Pole, a perfect six-sided structure swirling in deep space. Mystics and occultists immediately recognized this as a symbol not of chaos, but of intelligent design. This geometric pattern was eerily predicted by various ancient civilizations, despite their inability to observe it directly. In sacred geometry, the hexagon is the two-dimensional shadow of the cube, and the cube is the structure of form, limitation, and containment. It connects to Metatron's cube and the broader realm of sacred geometry. This hexagon symbolizes the hidden laws of creation, representing balance, formation, and the material world. Seen by mystics as a portal or seal, the hexagon serves as evidence of Saturn's deeper dimensional significance. The profound implications of this bizarre geometric formation secure its positioning as a symbolic gateway into humanity's cosmic initiation narrative. The North Pole hexagon of Saturn is often referred to as the Black Cube, and this Black Cube shall be the central motif through which we understand the nature of existence, suffering, and spiritual liberation. Saturn's hexagon shares many parallels with various spiritual figures, particularly Christ, along with analogues such as Krishna, Lao Tzu, and Buddha. These figures embody the archetype of liberation from the constraints of the Black Cube. The crucifixion of Christ, depicted as being nailed to a cross that geometrically unfolds into a cube, is one such instant. It symbolizes the transcendence of duality and the return to source consciousness. This connection highlights the transformative power of spiritual figures who guide humanity toward liberation. It suggests that the path to enlightenment involves navigating the complexities of existence and ultimately breaking free from the confines of the material world. The Black Cube of Saturn thus becomes a universal symbol, as seen appearing in Islamic, Jewish, and Christian traditions as the Kaaba, the Tefillin, and the Sabbath altar. In a masterful synthesis, Saturn weaves together various strands of religious symbolism, sacred geometry, and mythic archetypes. The hexagon, cross, and cube are presented as interconnected elements within a singular structure of meaning. In certain Gnostic traditions, Satanael is the fallen version of Saturn. Satanael is God's firstborn who sought to create independently. He becomes a shadow twin of Christ, a symbol of duality. Yet even this satanic figure can be integrated. In inner alchemy, Satanael's descent becomes the mirror of Christ's ascent. When matter and spirit unite, the cube becomes the cross and transcends. To walk the Saturnian path is not to worship the dark, but to illuminate it. It is to know death intimately, and thus, finally, to live. The Black Cube emerges as both a prison and a possibility, as a vessel of suffering that simultaneously serves as the framework through which consciousness evolves. This duality encapsulates the essence of the human experience, where limitations can lead to profound insights and spiritual growth. The Black Cube becomes Saturn's signature, a cosmic glyph encoding the dual nature of matter. The cube is not merely an abstract form or an art piece. It has become a global symbol of occult power. From corporate logos to art installations in New York and Tokyo, black cubes dot the landscape of modernity. It is believed that elite figures, from pop culture icons like Michael Jackson to corporate logos, knowingly employ Saturnian imagery to encode metaphysical truths. These symbols are not passive aesthetics. Rather, they are described as activating devices, talismans that resonate with planetary forces and exert control over the collective consciousness. As a multidimensional sigil that links Earth to the hexagonal cube at Saturn's North Pole. This connection elevates Saturn from being just a planet to an occult representation of Father Time, karma, cycles, suffering, and initiation. The black cube thus emerges as a powerful symbol, embodying the hidden forces that govern human existence and the cyclical nature of life. This theme raises questions about the nature of symbolism in modern society and the extent to which hidden knowledge influences cultural narratives. In advanced, esoteric cosmologies, the planets are more than mythic archetypes. They are quantum energy archetypes influencing life on Earth. The 7 classical planets are seen as quantum energy archetypes that influence human biology, thought, and behavior. Each planet is associated with specific energetic qualities. Mercury represents quantum communication. Venus embodies attraction and magnetism. Mars signifies primal drive. Jupiter symbolizes abundance through spin manipulation. Saturn governs time perception and restriction, while Uranus and Neptune are linked to innovation and mysticism. This perspective blurs the line between mysticism and quantum physics. It goes on to suggest that these planetary energies act on a subatomic level, shaping human experience in profound ways. By working with these energies consciously, ancient astrologers and elite financiers have used planetary alignments for influence and control. Financial astrology is an elite strategy rather than a flimsy belief. This can be drawn from historical connections to figures like J.P. Morgan and contemporary astrologers such as Raymond Merriman. Astrological timing is utilized to influence global markets, which injects Saturn's themes into the very fabric of capitalism. The moon is not forgotten either. It is presented as a symbol of sacred time and feminine wisdom, intricately connected to menstrual cycles, ancient calendars, and hidden astrotheological lore. It contrasts the 13 lunar month matriarchal systems with the 12 solar month patriarchal order, suggesting that lunar wisdom has been subverted by solar cults. This theme highlights the importance of reclaiming feminine knowledge and the cyclical nature of existence. It forces one to reflect on the balance between masculine and feminine energies in the cosmic order. This leads us back to the Gnostic cosmology and the Demiurge. It is believed that the Demiurge and the Archons together form a cosmic control grid. The black cube matrix is depicted as both a prison and a teacher. It is a metaphor for the limitations of the physical world and the karmic patterns that shape human existence. This perspective encourages a deeper understanding of the challenges faced in the material realm and the potential for spiritual growth through the recognition of these limitations. In the rich tapestry of mysticism, Saturn also shares its archetypal forms with Moloch, Kronos, the Black Sun, and alchemical lead. It reveals a unifying cosmology that positions Saturn as both the devourer and the redeemer, as well as the gatekeeper of transmutation. To understand this, the lineage of Saturn through the figure of Moloch must be traced first. Moloch is often associated with child sacrifice and the bull cults of ancient Canaan. The ritual fires of Moloch symbolize initiation into the mysteries of suffering, death, and rebirth. In Canaanite and Phoenician rites, the bull god devours innocence in a ritual of renewal and power. This establishes a connection between the darker aspects of Saturn and the transformative potential inherent in sacrifice. The rituals directly link to Kronos, whose name is Greek for time, who devoured his own children, fearing his overthrow. As the god of time, this symbolizes the unstoppable passage of time itself. Sacrifice is not merely literal here, it is symbolic of time's devouring nature and the ego's fear of transcendence. This image reflects Saturn's role in both the nurturing and the inevitable destruction of form, whether through the natural processes of aging, decay, or the larger cycles of birth and death. Time, as governed by Saturn, is both the force that allows life to take shape and the agent that ensures its eventual end. The metaphor of Kronos eating his children also carries profound psychological significance. In psychological terms, this could be seen as a process of transformation, a process where old aspects of the self must be relinquished in order for new ones to emerge. The cycle of death and rebirth governed by Saturn is not a literal death, but as a metaphor for psychological growth, the death of the ego, the release of outdated beliefs or behaviors, and the emergence of a more integrated self. Just as Kronos devours his children, only to make room for new creation, so too must individuals. They confront their own limitations and let go of outdated patterns to grow into more authentic versions of themselves. Moloch is framed as an early representation of Saturn as the Black Sun, the nocturnal counterpart to solar deities. The concept of the Black Sun emerges as Saturn's alchemical guise. It is also known as Sol Niger, representing the first stage of the magnum opus, or the Great Work. This stage embodies death, shadow, and spiritual potential, suggesting that the path to enlightenment often requires traversing the depths of darkness. Saturn's darkness is not said to be empty. It is a fertile void, the cocoon of the soul. It is the cave of retreat, the well of silence, the tomb from which new life emerges. To undergo Saturn's initiation is to descend into the shadow. In the Saturnian cult, sacrifice becomes a path to transformation, a means of confronting death to discover eternal life. This is the true promise of the Saturnian path, not repression, but rebirth through integration. To fear Saturn is to misunderstand it. Its shadow is terrifying only to the unprepared, but to those on the path of integration, Saturn becomes a sacred ally, challenging, but just. Drawing upon Jungian concepts of transformation, the alchemical process of turning lead into gold serves as a metaphor for spiritual refinement. As both the god of form and limitation, Saturn is intricately tied to the alchemical process of transformation. In alchemical symbolism, lead is often associated with Saturn. It is a dense, heavy metal that represents the base, unrefined aspects of the self or the world. Alchemists believe that through a process of refinement and transmutation, lead could be transformed into gold, a symbol of spiritual enlightenment and the attainment of the philosopher's stone. This process mirrors the psychological work of confronting one's own limitations and shadows, tracing and embracing the lessons Saturn offers in order to transmute base experiences into higher wisdom and understanding. The alchemical relationship with Saturn, therefore, emphasizes the potential for spiritual and personal growth through discipline, patience, and perseverance. It is through the pressures and limitations of life that true transformation occurs. Saturn's slow and steady nature forces individuals to face the darker, more uncomfortable aspects of their being. But it is precisely these challenges that lead to the highest forms of self-realization and mastery. Negative emotions, such as lust, fear, and trauma, are not to be suppressed, but transformed. Through this process, they can become sources of creative and even divine expression. This reveals that fornication is not merely a moral issue, but an energetic and symbolic one, representing a misuse of sacred energy. This exploration of sexual alchemy emphasizes the importance of understanding and harnessing one's vital force, suggesting that the path to spiritual awakening involves reclaiming and refining this energy. This is exemplified in the case of the goat of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, which also embodies a dual image. In many ancient cultures, goats have been associated with the underworld and the darker aspects of existence. The image of the goat, particularly in its connection to Capricorn, evokes themes of sacrifice, fertility, and the primal forces of nature. In this context, the goat can be seen as a representation of the shadow self, those aspects of our psyche that we often fear or suppress. When viewed through this lens, Capricorn's goat takes on a satanic quality, embodying the darker forces that can lead to chaos and destruction. This association with the underworld is not merely negative. It serves as a reminder of the cyclical nature of life and death. The goat's ability to thrive in harsh environments symbolizes resilience and adaptability, qualities that are essential for personal growth and transformation. Conversely, when viewed as a threshold guardian, the goat of Capricorn embodies the initiatic qualities of Saturn. In this interpretation, the goat represents the challenges and trials that one must face on the path to enlightenment. As a guardian of the threshold, the goat stands at the gateway between the known and the unknown, urging individuals to confront their fears and limitations in order to achieve a higher state of consciousness. This initiatic role is deeply intertwined with the concept of discipline. Saturn, as the ruler of Capricorn, is often associated with structure, responsibility, and the hard lessons of life. The goat's presence serves as a reminder that true growth often requires facing adversity and embracing the limitations that come with it. In this sense, the goat becomes a symbol of the transformative power of initiation, where the trials faced on the journey can lead to profound insights and spiritual awakening. This symbolizes that the very forces that can lead to destruction, fear, repression, and chaos also carry the potential for initiation, discipline, and profound growth. There is an interesting mystical theory that proposes that Saturn was Earth's original sun. It is said to be a brown dwarf that once enveloped our planet in a purplish twilight. This purple dawn era is thought to have ended in a cosmic cataclysm, a theme echoed in global flood myths. These stories symbolize Saturn's fall from centrality to exile. This hypothesis challenged conventional cosmological narratives, suggesting that Saturn's role in the cosmic order is far more profound than previously understood. Parallels between the sun's descent into the underworld and Saturn's presiding over winter and the womb of the void can also be made. Various cultures, including the Aztecs, Hindus, and Gnostics, held this sacred descent in mythic reverence, viewing death as a necessary step in the cycle of existence. Sabbatai Zevi is the heretic messiah who equated sin with redemption, which is a deeply Saturnian inversion. His name, which translates to Saturn, links back to ancient Zoroastrian magi and the deeper left-hand paths of transformation. In Sumerian, Egyptian, Greek, and Roman cultures, Saturn functions as a god of agriculture, time, decay, and rebirth. It continues to embody the relentless passage of time and the inevitability of death. The myth of Saturn devouring his children is a powerful metaphor for entropy. It illustrates the cyclical nature of existence, where creation and destruction are inseparably intertwined. In contemporary astrology, Saturn continues to play a significant role as the planet of discipline, structure, and karmic lessons. It is often associated with challenges and hardships, but these are not viewed as purely negative forces. Instead, Saturn's influence is seen as an essential aspect of personal growth. The Saturn Return, which occurs roughly every 29.5 years, is a significant event in an individual's life, marking a period of introspection, maturation, and sometimes major life changes. This return signifies the time when individuals confront their own limitations, societal responsibilities, and personal boundaries, often leading to the development of a more grounded and mature sense of self. Astrologers often view Saturn's aspects with other planets as opportunities for deep, transformative work. Its energy may bring difficulties or restrictions, but it also provides the structure and discipline necessary for long-term success and fulfillment. While its influence can be harsh, Saturn's ultimate gift is the wisdom gained from facing and overcoming life's obstacles. It teaches that growth often comes not through ease, but through struggle, and that mastery is achieved through persistence and resilience. From a psychological perspective, Saturn represents the inner authority, the internalized parent, and the structures of discipline and responsibility that govern our actions. The influence of Saturn is often felt as a force that limits freedom, yet it also enables personal growth by providing the boundaries within which individuals can develop their potential. As the planet associated with the principle of structure, Saturn is concerned with building something lasting and meaningful, whether that be in the form of a career, a relationship, or a personal philosophy. The challenge of Saturn lies in how it forces individuals to confront the areas of their lives where they feel restricted, vulnerable, or insecure. These challenges are not meant to break the individual, but rather to fortify them. Those who embrace Saturn's lessons find that it is not through freedom from limits that they grow, but through the acceptance and integration of those limits into a more holistic view of the self. Saturn's archetype is multifaceted and complex, embodying the tensions between form and formlessness, limitation and liberation, death and transformation. Whether seen through the lens of ancient mythology, astrology, or modern psychology, Saturn's influence is deeply intertwined with the human experience. It is a symbol of the necessary boundaries that define our existence, and a reminder that growth often arises from the very limitations one seeks to escape. Saturn's role as the cosmic archetype of time, structure, and transformation teaches that true wisdom is often forged in the crucible of hardship. It challenges one to confront his fears, accept responsibility, and ultimately transcend his limitations. Far from being a purely negative force, Saturn is a guardian of wisdom, guiding us through the cycles of life and death, growth and decay, with the potential for profound transformation. Understanding Saturn's archetype is not just about embracing its power to restrict, but also recognizing its ability to help one to build lasting, meaningful structures in his life. By integrating Saturn's lessons into one's own existence, he's able to live with greater authenticity, purpose, and understanding of the deeper rhythms of the universe,